Friday only on FS1. Back here with Antoine Walker. All right, Twan, we're talking Kevin Durant. He didn't play in Game 1 last night, and despite making the trip to Toronto, Steve Kerr says KD's a long shot to play in Game 2 on Sunday. However, if he does return to the floor, Kawhi says the Raptors will be ready.
Whenever he does play or say he's going to be playing, then we're definitely going to have to, prep for him. He's another guy that could just score 30 points in his sleep, and everybody know who he is, and for sure we're going to have to prep for him.
All right, Twan, did last night show you that the Warriors need Durant if they want to win the finals?
I believe they need him. I think when you have to play 11 guys to search for production off the bench, I think a couple years ago, Draymond Green was a better offensive player. Andre Iguodala obviously was a better offensive player. They're not the same. We know we saw the last 5 games, both of these guys be terrific, but you ask them to do something that they're not accustomed to doing now on a consistent basis, or at least since Kevin Durant has been there. They need him. If he can give him 15, 20, it's hard to say because it's injury and he hasn't practiced, so we don't know what he's going to be able to give him. This ain't going to be the Kevin Durant that was probably the best player in the NBA.
The Clippers.
This guy was playing the best basketball of any player in the league, so I don't know if you're going to get that Kevin Durant, but they're going to need a third scorer to come in and help those guys out. Toronto's bench is deeper. We've said that before. We thought Toronto's bench was much better than Golden State, and obviously when you play 11 guys, you're searching for somebody to step up and give you something. And I think Boogie Cousins is missing 14 games. He's not going to be able to get there in this short period of time to get back to the form where he was at too before his injury. So they definitely need Kevin Durant if they want to win this series.
To me, they would like to have him. They would be in a better position if they have him, but no, they don't need him to beat Toronto. And this is, as we always do, myself included, to me this feels like a bit of a Game 1 overreaction. Just like Boston was going to beat Milwaukee after Game 1. Just like Milwaukee was going to run through Toronto after Game 1. We have seen in these playoffs, Game 1s are meaningful, but they are not everything. And we can't just throw away the last 32 games they played without Kevin Durant, with Steph Curry, prior to last night, where they were 31-1. Or the entirety of the run that they had prior to last night. Well, then let's include last night. Now, with Steph Curry, without Kevin Durant, this Warriors team in the last 3 years is 34-5. I understand that you're not playing the Toronto Raptors in all 39 of those games. You have a whole cross-section of the good, the bad, and the mediocre NBA teams. I understand that. But can the Warriors win 4 out of 6 against Toronto without Kevin Durant? Yes, of course they can. Can they, if they execute what they were trying to do last night in spots, go back into Toronto on Sunday and win? Of course. What they did to Kawhi Leonard was a huge positive. There were other things that they did that you can say, okay, we can build off of. If you thought going into the series they couldn't win without Kevin Durant, then sure, still feel that way. But if you thought going into the series the Warriors absolutely could win the series if Durant never plays, to change your opinion because Toronto won Game 1, to me, is foolish.
Well, Jenna and I thought, and the reason why we picked Toronto was because Kevin Durant wasn't going to play. We didn't think he was going to play for the whole series.
You still don't think he's probably not going to play?
I don't think he's going to play, but the probability when he starts to travel, he still hadn't been on the court. And to me, every bucket I ever seen Kevin Durant get since he's been in the league been a jump shot or something where he elevated off the ground. And now you're telling me he can't elevate because of a right calf? That happened over 3 weeks ago. When he first went out, they said it's a 4 to 6 week injury. We're past 3 weeks now, and he has not stepped foot on a basketball court with basketball shoes on, trying to do basketball type things. So I'm concerned about it. I know last night Draymond Green said, hey, when Kevin Durant is with us, we feel invincible. I know Steph Curry, when they were double teaming him 30 feet away, he would have liked to have Kevin Durant out there. Klay Thompson, I guarantee he would have got easier looks if he wasn't out there. So to me, Kevin Durant is always a part of it. He wasn't there last night. Now, Nick said this. I don't believe this. And we don't know. I don't believe they can beat the Raptors without Kevin Durant. And if they lose this series, it's going to be the #1 question asked for the next 3 to 4 months. It was the same question you just asked, Jenna, so I might as well get used to this.
Go ahead.
I believe I'm on your side with this, Chris, and I disagree with you, Nick. I believe how are you going to beat a Toronto team, it's about matchups in the playoffs. This is a bad matchup for the Golden State Warriors if Kevin Durant is not playing. If he's playing, it's a different ball game. But with him not playing, Draymond Green has to play real defense, not help defense. He has to guard. You saw last night, he had to guard, get to the, Siakam was taking them to the post, posting them up, taking them off the dribble. This is a different guard for him. Andre Iguodala's not 100%. He has to guard the best player in the playoffs right now. You need Kevin Durant, a guy who can protect the basket, who can do some offensively, obviously take a lot of pressure off Steph and Clay. Clay needs KD, so he can free up him for some shots. This is about matchups. It's a bad matchup for the Golden State if KD is not there.
They need Durant to. Draymond's absolutely right. They need Durant to be invincible. They do not need Durant in order to beat an opponent 4 out of 7 times. A
world championship opponent, they do.
But see, you just said you operated under the assumption Durant's not going to play. And the Golden State is in such rough shape, you picked Toronto to win in a 7th
No,
game.
I didn't say they're in rough shape, Nick, but there's a reason why they went out and got KD.
No, I get it, but what you just said was you operated.
It helped me. Yes, it helped me.
No, but without Kevin Durant, you think this thing can go 7? If it can go 7, the Warriors can win.
Of course they can win.
Well,
but if I'm going into a fight, I'd much rather have all my weapons.
But that is not the. Of course they are better with Durant. Of course, they would be bigger favorites with Durant. They would be better positioned to win with Durant. That is not the question. The question is, can they win a championship if Durant never plays again? Not
going against Milwaukee and not going against Toronto. So if you ask that question, that's my answer.
This is the same.
And you thought so too. You thought Milwaukee.
Oh, I thought
it's just not your team.
No. I thought Milwaukee would beat the Warriors, absolutely. But I thought they'd beat the Warriors whether they had Durant or not. I thought Milwaukee was the bad matchup.
So Toronto just swept Milwaukee 4 straight games. Oh, but we're not going to give them credit for that. And you thought Milwaukee was going to give Golden State problems.
Yes, because to Antoine's point, it is a game of matchups, and there are to me there was no one on Golden State that was going to be able to slow down Giannis the way Kawhi was able to for Toronto. But set that aside, I cannot believe anyone actually thinks the Warriors can't win the championship without Durant. It's one thing to say they're not the dominant force. They're not overwhelming. They've played.
No, people are going to say that, Nick, because they got respect for him. They got 2 of the greatest shooters ever.
But they won 1 without Kevin Durant, so you have to respect that. But I think you're looking at, Nick, the 5 games we saw them play this year without Kevin Durant and how good they were. They were great. They were spectacular. They moved the ball. Draymond played great. Andre Iguodala. This is a different series, different animal. They got to do more defensively than they had to do in the Portland series. And honestly, Toronto's much better than Portland. This is a different animal.
They're better than
so it's a different animal. They can't beat. I don't believe they're going to win this series without KD playing. If KD does not play, Toronto Raptors will be the NBA champs.
If they were playing Milwaukee, you would be sitting here saying they cannot beat Milwaukee with Kevin Durant or without Kevin Durant.
Right, but they're not playing Milwaukee. It's a different series.
They're playing a better team.
They're playing a team.
You know the reason why their team is better? Because they beat them, and they just beat them last week.
But you don't get to do that math only one way. You can't say we can use that series in this regard, but not, hey, the Warriors with Kevin Durant, nobody's going to beat them. But except for the fact that they were 6-4 in the 10 games in these playoffs he's played, and they're 5-0 without it.
It's our show.
Okay, this conversation is probably moot because Kevin Durant, even if he does return, is not going to be the Kevin Durant that we all assume the Warriors need in order for them to win, or maybe not you. He's already probably out for game 2, and if he does come back, he's 3 weeks into a 6-week recovery.
No, but Antoine's point is that even if he's not 39-5-5 KD, if he just takes Jonas Jerebko's minutes, and that if he all of a sudden can be a guy that can make it to where he's on the court when Steph's off, if he can give you 20 minutes as a 6th man, he thinks that's enough to get them over the top.
Without question, that's what I believe. You got to have a legitimate third scorer, somebody that takes some pressure off Stan Klay Thompson. They did a great job of guarding them and limit their shot attempts last night, and I think that's going to continue as the series goes along.
Good stuff. Take a break. Coming up, do the Raptors need more offense from Kawhi to have a chance in game 2? Next on First Things First.
Man, when you're on Undisputed, that's Skip Show. You can't do that. Collins Show.